Hello and welcome to another video tutorial. In this tutorial I will be showing you how to create fire using Blender. So from what I've seen, people who have done realistic fire in the past have kind of created a very intense flame, something more like a big bonfire. But in some cases that's not what you want, such as in a small campfire situation, like this one right here. You want a bit softer flame that is not as intense, not as bright. So that's the one that I'm going to be showing you how to make. Anyway, open up a new scene in Blender and disable cycles, because as of right now cycles does not do fire or smoke, because it doesn't have the voxel data texture. Okay, so I'm going to begin by hiding the default cube. We will be seeing it again, but not right now. So bring in a monkey mesh, and just like that. That should be good. Actually, we may want to rotate it ever so slightly, and that should be good. Okay. And something like that. Okay, so here we've got our monkey. I'm going to hit Control 1 and set it to smooth. That way it looks good. If we render this now, it's a monkey in a box. Let's go ahead and hide or disable the cube from rendering. We can see that doesn't look so great. The lighting is all off. So I'm just going to bring this light around front and duplicate it like that. I'm also going to bring them down and push them out along the X. Much smoother lighting, but it's also too bright. But first I'm going to change it to a black background. So let's begin by setting up the lighting. For this light on the right, give it kind of a greenish color like that. Gonna turn it down a little bit, and right about there. Now for this side, I'm gonna give it kind of a maroon color, like that. I think this one might be slightly too bright. Doesn't really matter, these are going to be very subtle in the end because the fire will be doing most of the lighting. Although I think this one's still too bright. That's better. Okay. So now, I think we're ready to start working on the smoke. So hit Alt-H to unhide our box and scale that up so that all of our smoke will be inside of it. So something like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and, with the monkey selected, go into the Physics tab, hit Smoke, and hit Flow. And now I'm going to select the box, and hit Smoke, and Domain. With the box still selected, or the domain object still selected, I'm going to begin by switching the resolution from 32 to 64. This will just increase the it'll increase the resolution of the smoke, making it look better. If you have a slower system, I don't suggest doing this because it will slow it down a lot. Next, I'm going to change the scale from 1 to 1.2, so the time scale a little bit faster, because flame is a little bit more lively than smoke, generally. And then for vorticity, I'm going to change it to 3 and check dissolve. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Now over here I'm going to set the temp difference to 1.5 And that should do it for now. Okay, now I'm going to go over to the particle settings with the monkey still selected, and I'm going to call it fire, and set the number from 1,000 to 10,000. And if we hit Alt-A now, it'll be very slow. That worked better than I expected. Anyway, it's kind of interesting because what you used to have to do, and I think I'm still going to do it, first I'm going to change this down to 150, and what you used to have to do was you had to make all of these the same, because otherwise all your particles would just kind of rain off, and set it to no for physics, and for the lifetime set it to the length of your animation, so 150. But apparently you don't have to do that anymore. Anyway, I'm still going to do it. Okay, so there is our monkey with all of its particles on it. It's looking pretty good. If we were to hit Alt-A and let a little bit of smoke come off, and pause it there. Pause. Hello. There we go. If we hit F12 now, you'll see that nothing has happened. And actually, before we go further, let's give the monkey a stone texture. So begin by giving it a new material and calling it stone. And a new texture, call it stone. We're going to leave the type as clouds, but we're going to set the noise to hard and change the sides down to 0.22 and the depth up to 5. Finally, we're going to change it from color on the influences to the normal, and I'm just going to turn this down a little bit. And if we hit F12 now, you'll see that the monkey has kind of a stony look. You can also change the color. It doesn't really matter too much. Maybe a little bit darker. Nah. And finally, make sure to check Receive Transparent, because if you don't, you'll get these kind of weird black things coming up, because the smoke is semi-transparent, and if you don't check that, it won't see it. It'll see it as an object, and it'll block out the light. So now it'll calculate how transparent the smoke is and figure out what it needs to do from there. Okay, so moving on. If we render it now, it will still look exactly the same because we haven't actually done anything to the smoke yet. Just checking all the settings, it looks good. So let's go in and work on our domain object's smoke settings. So with the domain object selected, give it a volume and change the density down to 0 and change the density scale up to 3. And now go over here to the texture panel and change the default texture to smoke and give it a voxel data type. And for domain object, unless you renamed it, it's just going to be cube. And I'm going to change the interpolation to cubic B-spline. This will just kind of give it a softer look. And finally, I'm going to change it from emission color to density and emission. And I believe if we render that now, nothing will show up because it is still not rendering the box. Now it should show up and it won't look very good. Okay, so first we're going to get rid of the kind of the speckling here that we see. To do this, it's really quite simple. All we do is just scale it up. So And the bigger the scale, the less speckles you get. So I'm just going to keep scaling and stop. Okay. And that is looking pretty good. So if you're curious about how big everything is now, the cube has dimensions, is a 36.966 scaling. Just in case you're curious, that's going to take a long time, so you better have a really powerful computer if you're going to use this, but it'll be pretty good results. Okay, so now what we're going to do, with the domain object selected, we're going to go over to the physics tab, and we're going to go and cache it. So first I'm going to give it a name, and I'm going to call it fire, and turn this end down to 150, or to the end of your animation. This can take a while, so just hit bake all dynamics and wait for it to go. I am going to pause the video until it's done. Okay, so now it's finished, and if we hit Alt A now, we'll see that it goes a lot faster. If we hit F12, we can see that the smoke is really, really thick. I'm actually going to shrink it down, or scale the image down a little bit, because this is way too much. It's taking the computer a long time, it's just too big. I think a little bit speckly, but oh well, that'll get fixed in post-processing. Okay, so that's looking good now. So you'll notice after we've baked the dynamics, these boxes will turn gray, so we can't edit them anymore. Same with the particles, or they should have. Okay. They should have. If they didn't, oh well, don't touch them. So now, I think we get to have some fun. Yeah, let's give it colors. So, there we go. Give it a new material, call it flame, and change the type to voxel data, domain object cube, and interpolation cubic B-spline. Pretty much the same. Don't have to change that. Blend type, give it a multiply, and check, or open up colors and check the ramp. Okay, so this is where all of our colors come in. I'm just going to turn all that down all the way. Okay, this is really up to you how you do it. I'm just going to go with the settings I had before. So the first one, 0.24, and that's going to be kind of a maroon color. Kind of like that. A rusty maroon-ish color. And the alpha, 0.75. Also, before we go further, the interpolation, change it to ease. This will kind of give it a longer gradient. Okay, so the next one, the position, 0.39, and kind of a brighter red. And an alpha of 0.78. Okay, so something like that. And for the final one, actually not final quite yet. Let's see, 0.650, and this is going to be kind of a yellowy color. So right about like that. And this last one, that's going to be pretty dark. And 0.386, and 2, because you know how at the tips, actually, you know what, don't need that. There we go, that works. If we render that now, there should be colors. Yeah, big inferno. If it's too much, like this is kind of a little bit too much, you can go and select the smoke and turn down the density influence a little bit. Let's try again. Still a bit too much. Okay, that looks fine. Okay. Okay. Don't think we have to do much more. Okay, I think we get over into compositing now. So, let's come over here. Actually, first, before we do that, I'm just going to separate out the layers. So, get a monkey, take our monkey, hit Shift D, and hit, not that, hit M, and move it over to the second layer, and select these two lamps, and hit M, and then hold down Shift and hold click the second layer. And now we're going to come over here, and if we hit Alt A, nothing happens. And if we hit render, as you can see, it just shows the monkey. I'm going to make the material brighter. Okay, let me pause this and get all set up again. Okay, never mind. That worked. So that's looking good now. If you render that now, it looks like this. Okay. So now go into layers and hit new, and call this one flame and this one monkey. So with flame selected, press on this one, and I think, how did I do that? I think something like that. And if we render, something will be missing. Yeah. Okay. And next, just hit that one to disable. That way we won't get the black splotches. Okay. So that is right, I believe. Now if we come over to the compositor, check use nodes and hit backdrop. So that looks pretty good. Viewer. So now we got a monkey. I'm also going to have an input render layer. Monkey and output. So what we did here, we set this to a mask. So yeah, the fire doesn't show up inside so that we can just edit the fire. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to pull that one underneath like that. Okay, disconnect there. And under color, hit RGB curves, plug that in like that, and connect it up to the viewer. And we're going to kind of give it an S curve. So that brightens it, and then I'm going to just take that down like that. Just play around with this, get it to where you like it. It's just for fun. And next, I'm going to bring in a hue correct. Where is that? Right there. And these are kind of fun. Just pulling that off to the side so that we can see what we're doing. Just bring up the red and the yellow a little bit. And I think the green can come down. Didn't really see much change there. Is it working? Anyway, it's kind of hard to see everything. Okay, so that should be working. Just gonna brighten things up a little bit. Okay. And finally, I'm going to go and bring in an alpha over with this guy on the bottom and that one on the top. Maybe the other way around. Definitely not. Seems that I didn't do the mask correctly. Here, just a moment, I'm going to figure out how to do that properly and then I'll get back to you. Okay, so hit shift space to make that smaller again. Go over to layers and with flame selected, click that guy, or that one, and make the second layer the mask, and that should work like that. Okay. F12, let's re-render and have it figure everything out for us. Okay, well that has quite the effect. So if we bring this to the output, or like that, we can see that the monkey is hidden from view. It still isn't working quite how I wanted it, but oh well, that looks fine. Why is this not working? Just a second. Okay, so it appears that we need to turn up the lamp a little bit because we can't quite see him enough, or can't quite see this monkey enough. So I'm just going to turn him up, and okay, sorry, my parents keep interrupting. Okay, so we can see that more stone texture back there, although I have to say I don't like that so much. What? This is not. Something I've noticed, in Blender 2.63, the Blender internal composite output does not seem to work properly. So I think for the rest of this tutorial we are going to go over to Blender 2.62. I hope you still have a copy of that around. If not, don't really know what to tell ya, but yep. Okay, so now in Blender 2.62 we can actually see that everything is working properly, and I was just worrying about nothing. So if you zoom in fairly closely, you can see our little texture making its way through, little cracks here and there. I think I want a little bit more cracking going on, so I'm just going to go and let's see. Where are you, monkey? Just turn up the normal a little bit, like that. And that looks pretty good. And since I put it at 1, no flame has actually come out yet. There. So that's what it looks like, and oh yeah, one last thing. Before you go to render it as an animation, make sure to set the output, change it to either an AVI JPEG or one of these movie formats, because if you do one of these, it's not going to be much fun, because you get to put all of them together using the Blender's let's see, video editor probably. I don't know, I've never really played with this very much, but get to put each picture up there. So, yep, not that one. So that's what it looks like. Let's render it off a little bit more, just to make sure it looks good. And yep, so yeah, that looks fine. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Also, change this resolution if you want to. And hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and come back next time.